Welcome back. Here we are with somebody who's got their YouTube on still.
That was
And we are
me.
joined by Jackie Perez and Tom McCafferty. Jackie, obviously the writer-director, and Tom, the co-producer and Rand in the film. Hey, guys.
Hi, thanks for
Hey.
having us.
So great to see you finally face to face. Your film was so good
Yes.
and people are loving it all over online.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And there's so much to unpack. I've got like a million questions for you guys. We only have a short time. So we're just going to start hitting you with questions back and forth. And hopefully there's time to answer them all. First and foremost, I really enjoyed the creative choices that you made in the film with like the gender swap and everything like that. Can you tell me a little bit about you made a few specific creative choices that were different than obviously the story. Can you dig into that a little bit?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you all for watching. We're really thrilled to be here tonight. And the creative choices, the original draft that I wrote was very similar to the story. It followed, I really didn't make many changes. And then when we started reaching out and figuring out what it would cost and getting actual quotes for building an interior of a spaceship, doing the VFX for the sand, it was just, hey, we can either build this one thing or we can make a movie. So pretty much all the creative choices that I made came from budgetary constraints and trying to work within the box that we had. And out of that came some really creative ideas.
Awesome. Okay, so for the crew, I was reading that there was 60% women. So this is like mostly a female crew. Obviously, that's intentional. Now, is this like a network that you already had, or were you just like, okay, I'm going to fill these roles very deliberately?
So this was a network that I had been building for 5 years in Los Angeles. Tom was one of the very first people that I met when I moved to LA in 2013. And the original story is actually all male characters. And so I really wanted to have some women in it. And really that first choice to make the Shapiro character a woman was what set off a lot of the other choices about the psychological aspect of the film. And everything kind of fell into place after that because I was trying to figure out how to do this on the budget that we had. And that one decision created a whole waterfall that made everything work afterwards. So it was a very deliberate choice, and I just had so many wonderful friends that I had met in LA that I wanted to work with and bring them on board.
Awesome. Tom, how long did it take to shoot the film? Obviously this is, it's stunning to look at. That's a location obviously that took a while to kind of suss out and everything like that. So how long, what did that all entail?
Jackie really knew about that location, and she's the one that found that fantastic spot down by Imperial with the dunes. But the shoot was really, it was years ago now, so I may get the exact number of days wrong, but it was like 4 days. We were like maybe 1 day in the dunes, and then 3 on a soundstage. A lot of the stuff that was towards the end with the 2 people who came down and Dude was on a soundstage in downtown LA with some sand that we actually brought from the desert. Something else that Jackie didn't mention was that not only was it 60% women, a lot of the cast and crew, well, the crew anyway, are folks from the military. And Jackie is a not just a very talented filmmaker, but she's also an MIT grad and Navy nuclear engineering officer.
Wow.
And we met. I know. What? Well, we only had 15 minutes for this thing, man.
I know.
And she's in Hawaii right now, which is where she lives with her husband, who's also a Navy officer. But we actually met through an organization called Veterans in Media and Entertainment. And I was a military officer. I was an Army officer, and that's a lot of the crew, a lot of the folks who work on the production side came from that group. So it was a tight group, a great group of folks, and really happy with what we got.
I feel like that there's a movie that should be made about that in particular, like that program. Like that's amazing. That's unbelievable.
That is really cool.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack with you guys. I don't want to monopolize all the time though. I'm gonna let Leah, because there's got to be Twitter questions for you guys.
There are Twitter questions, but obviously you're waiting for your haiku from Dairy Public Radio that everybody. I feel like really obligated to read all of them now. Like this is super creative. So, dunes that hypnotize, beach planet opens your mind. Shapiro stays cool. And obviously they gave you 5 out of 5 blue chambray shirts. Thank you, Dairy Public Radio.
Right on. Are there questions?
There are. I just had scrolled up there. So actually, Michael Lamberti, who was here with his own film not too long ago, and you might have answered some of these already. This had fantastic visuals. My question is, how long was your pre-production process? How much was your budget? Because my budget for my film was $500. Like, your film just blows my mind. Also, what made you choose this story?
Well, I'll start with the last question first. I chose the story. I read all the stories, and I chose Beachworld because I knew about the Glamis sand dunes near Imperial, California, and because we're living in Los Angeles, I felt I just had to take advantage of this amazing location, and I feel like Beachworld is a story rarely adapted as a Dollar Baby because it has this very specific look to the location. So I was fortunate in being so close to these amazing, beautiful dunes. And what was the first part of the question? Sorry, I know there was 3 parts.
He wanted to know about how long was your pre-production process?
Oh, pre-production. I actually optioned the story when I was finishing up my Master's of Fine Arts in Screenwriting at Stevens College in a low residency program in Los Angeles in 2016. So it was really a $3 baby because we optioned it in 2016 and then re-upped it because every year life happened. I got a different job. I got married. And then it was 2018 and my husband got orders to the Middle East. So we're about to move to Bahrain. And so I was like, all right, I need to shoot this movie or it's never going to get done. So we ended up shooting in April of 2018. And the script had gone through so many iterations. And while we did a lot of pre-production, it felt like, and Tom can talk to this too, it felt like really the month before we shot was when everything happened and all the dominoes fell into place. And it was kind of a very whirlwind pre-production in that aspect. And then it took over a year to edit because I was in Bahrain. We did our VFX with a team in India because I wanted to be closer to the time change for communication. Music was done in Portland with a friend, Michael Klebanoff, and then editing was done in Los Angeles. And so it's been a very long journey, and I'm excited that everyone gets to see it here in 2021.
And that's amazing. Yeah, you're fascinating. I have one kind of really bizarre question because I saw it in the credits just now, and I was just like, "What is a hedgehog wrangler?"
Oh, my husband loves that you're asking this question, John Perez. We used to have a pet hedgehog named Pickle, and she's actually the catalyst for our production company named Pointed Pictures, and so that's our little nod to her memory in all of our credits. And John is amazing and is so helpful, hearing my ideas and helping me through drafts. And he flew across the country for one day to be on set and help out because he wanted to be a part of it. So thank you, John, for all your support.
That's awesome.
He's watching from Rhode Island. So.
Oh, really?
He is. He's in a school right now, so we're doing long distance for a few months, Navy life.
That's cool. Do you have anything on the Twitter?
On the Twitter?
On the Twitter.
There's a question from Ka_Teto. I can't even say this person's name, 19. Was that a shadow of the dark tower on the woman walking in the desert?
Oh, maybe. Yes, I definitely planned to be there.
I think people are just on the Easter egg hunt right now. They're like,
Big time.
Shit, is that?
we wanted. I had planned for. Let's say I'd planned for a lot of Easter eggs, and then once the train was moving, I think I dropped the balls on that a bit. So next Stephen King film I do, hopefully I'll get to plant a little bit more. But to the point of that shadow, it was really risky shooting on the dunes because we didn't know what the weather would be like. We just kind of planned to shoot in the middle of the week, where hopefully the marks from the dune buggies would be wiped away from the wind, and in the springtime, so it's not too hot. And luckily, when we got down there to shoot, the weather was literally perfect that one day that week. Too windy the day before for drones, and way too hot for the camera the following day. So the stars aligned, and the filmmaking gods shine their good fortune upon us.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Okay, we're running out of time. I feel like we could just talk to you all night long. But I did notice that you mentioned somewhere online that this is the last festival that this will be screened at. Is that? Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. We had been applying to different festivals when the pandemic hit, and the final virtual film festival we had played was Nightmares Film Festival. And then when this one popped up, we thought we were done. And then so we feel so fortunate to be here tonight. But this should be our final, at least that we know of, film festival that Beachworld will be screened at.
Okay.
But we do have some big surprise news. That Beachworld, although this is the final film festival, we got special permission from Stephen King himself and all his people that Gunpowder and Sky's Dust Sci-Fi Channel is going to be putting Beachworld on their platform. So now we're going to have a worldwide reach and a forever home for this film. So we're really excited about that.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yes.
We're super excited.
Right on.
So it'll be coming out in September.
That's great. When is it?
It'll be coming out this fall in September, and then
Perfect.
if you really enjoy the film, you can watch it again.
That's awesome. So cool. So I guess we do have time for just one last question. So, I mean, we've been asking lots of the filmmakers, if you could adapt another Stephen King story, what would it be?
Well, my dream Stephen King story, I brought the book out, is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, and I'm very excited that Lynn Ramsey has picked this up and is developing it right now. And so I'm glad to see another woman at the helm of a Stephen King feature. And I would be happy then to direct any other Stephen King feature. And if there's a producer or director that wants to pair up, I'm totally game. I love adapting, and I love Stephen King.
That's awesome. Thank you guys both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This was an amazing movie, and good. Like, congratulations on all the success for it.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having us, and Tom for joining from Los Angeles.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Cheers. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.